Okay. Here we go. Aloha. Aloha, everyone. We want to begin with the mahalo, the law of gratitude, the mahalo nui chant. And knowing that the mahalo is the law of gratitude. So we always urge that everyone, when you get up in the morning, be in your gratitude. All through the day, align with your gratitude. Choose to do that so that your life becomes more in that experience of gratitude. So that the energies have more to give you in gratitude. Okay? So, as my grandfather used to always say, be sure that the experience that you want comes through the aloha. And the aloha, of course, comes through the mahalos. Okay? Wait.
Makau kau. Kiki au ke ia o holo o koa. Mahalo nui.
Mahalo nui no la ke ia. Piha po mai kai.
Me ke
Aloha.
Mahalo nui.
Mahalo. Thank you for this day. Blessings with aloha.
Keiki au ke ia. Keiki au ke
Ia no holokoa. Hele mai ana.
no makali. Keiki au ke ia. Keiki au ke
And I am reminded
no
I'm this child of the universe. And I come from Makali'i, the star system.
Aloha huakahi. Aloha huakahi.
Kahi no hoku wa'a po mai kai. Puna.
Aloha huakahi. Aloha huakahi.
My loving journey
no hoku
on the
wa'a
star cradle.
po mai kai.
Loved and blessed by the ancestors.
Aina ia mai.
Na ia mai ana kapuana.
Keiki au
Ke
ke
ia o holokoa.
Aina ho. Aina
And this is
ia
my
mai.
song.
Ana kapuana.
My story not
Aloha po
told.
mai kai. Ina kupuna.
Loved and blessed by the ancestors.
Hey lava. Keiki au ke ia. Oh holo o koa. Aloha po mai kai. Ina kupuna.
A great reminder that I am child of the universe, and I am loved, and I'm blessed by the ancestors. Yay! Once a day, every day, maybe even twice. Good. Very good.
That's the kahiko for it.
Yes.
Haven't done that for a little while, a little rusty. Maybe we do it again another time. And but that's always fun to get the kahiko in there. We promised as a Christmas gift
Ooh, it is Christmas.
to the Haumana.
Yeah, today is the Christmas day, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Sheesh. Sometimes you get so busy you forget.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring it up close.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
We're back outside after thunder and lightning. last night.
Oh, we had a lot of it. I don't know about you folks wherever you are in the world, but woo, we had a lot of thunder and
Oh,
rain.
that was so good.
We have the birthing of the volcano also,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right up on our mountain, not too far from here. Maybe about what would you say, an hour and 45 minutes?
No. Yeah, it's like maybe an hour away. Yeah, but up on the Mauna, up on the mountain Mauna Loa in Kilauea.
So it's another birthing action. We
Yeah,
call it.
the on solstice, we actually did an interview with a group of people that were celebrating the solstice time and
Yeah.
the power alignments and everything happening. And on that day, Pele decided to start erupting again. The caldera,
Mm.
Kilauea, the caldera itself had a, if you could call it small, puka, which used to be Halima'oma'o,
Yes.
which was where you could see the little lava lake and the live lava kind of erupting, and then of course she has inflation and deflation, and so the lake would rise and fall and rise and fall. Lava lake, okay. And we watched that for so many years, and then when it started fissuring down here, the earthquakes and the fissuring, all of the lava drained out of Kilauea. The whole caldera just drained. And it's because all the lava came down here and was flowing out here, just a mile away from us, actually, down to the ocean. And so her caldera was empty, and she actually just sank. The rock slides and everything just sank down into the puka, the hole. And so it's just, the caldera, of course, widened.
Yeah.
And it's just been dormant for a while, but actually started filling with water and was turning into a green lake. And then on the solstice, the day of the solstice.
And very hot.
Yeah, hot water. Hot. Sulfur, acidic water, swirling, really cool colors we would watch, as they would film it and video it. And we saw the beautiful green lake forming up there. And then, on the solstice, we felt a real rattle here in Puna, where we are. With whoa.
Quite a few earthquakes, actually.
Yeah, there had been a swarm of little ones, but this one was like a 4.7 or something. So it was a pretty good rattler. And immediately, of course, we check our news stations, but she started erupting up at the caldera up in Volcano National Park. And so there's two pukas, there's two holes on the sides of where the rock slides had been, and it just started pouring lava into the caldera from those points, and on the south flank of the caldera, and it started filling up. So of course it just it kind of did. Yeah, it just, all the water turned into steam and rose up in the heavens. And then, kind of a little bit of plume explosion was happening with the water and the lava coming together. And so it sent this big, huge plume into the heavens. And that night you could see the star constellations and the moon and the glow of the universe in the heavens. And here's this golden plume coming up, rising. Gosh. Once again, beautiful. Pele is active up there again and making herself known. That Pele's back in the hood. And yet she back up in her hale in her house. And she did it on that day. And it was so amazing for all of us. And honestly, energetically, didn't it feel like just a big relief?
Yeah.
It just felt so,
yeah.
It was like, Pele's back home now, because she's been underground and flowing down and, kind of down far away from the caldera, going to visit her sister, Namaho Kekai, the ocean goddess. They were having a powwow, the Vala'au. They were talking story for a while.
This is a very active island, I must say.
Oh, yeah, we have great stuff going on. But that was such a beautiful gift for the solstice.
Yes.
And then for Christmas Day, we wanted to, do that kahiko for you folks. And of course, you know, in its perfect imperfection today. But it was so perfect. It was so perfect. And yeah, it's fun to get doing that again, and maybe we'll do it again another time. And you know, because as you've seen us, we do our pa'i and all that stuff, and sometimes it's a little different every time, but it's so perfect, isn't it?
That speaks about changes. You know, that changes are good, actually.
Yeah, to be in the flow, to be in the jello of things.
Yeah, you don't get imprisoned.
No.
By the mana'o that says, oh, you're supposed to do it this way and you're supposed to do it that way and all of that kind of stuff, you know. No, not really. Living in a day-to-day experience, you know, and really accepting life and accepting your evolvement, the evolvement to grow and to expand, you know. That takes some new directions sometimes, you know. And if you're in prison, if you've attached yourself to doing things only in a particular way, well, sometimes that can lock you into an imprisonment, you know. And so you miss out on some of the evolvements.
Yeah, and the good growth. Juicy stuff. You know, we actually were sitting out here in the yard, more on the porch over there up against the hale, looking out into the ohia forest that's behind us now. And we were sitting here before Pele erupted and came down, you know, into Leilani and fissuring down here
3 years ago.
Yeah. It? And it literally moved the earth 4 feet that way and then 4 feet back and 4 feet that way and 4 feet back. And it did it like 4 or 5 times. Yeah.
You should feel yourself doing that.
I mean, when the ground, and it wasn't just like a, it was like whoo and the whoo. And talk about doing the hula, whoo, back, you know, and we were just in our chair and the whole ground just moved. And what was interesting, we were watching, you know, maybe as you can see how tall these ohia trees are.
Oh, yeah. See?
Very, very.
Look how tall they are.
Very tall. So they're very tall. And, you know, we're sitting here looking out into the forest. And as we moved, you know, 4 feet this way and that way, the ohias bent like this. And then they bent like that. And you could hear the whap, whap, whap. And I've never seen trees before in my life. I've never seen anything like that. And I'm sitting here and I'm watching it, and the trees are like and back and forth and hitting the ground and hitting
like a boomerang,
bending so beautifully, like perfectly. You would think
like willow
yeah, like bamboo. They just almost got fluid, and they were smacking back and forth. And in our water catchment tank back there, the water was sloshing from side to side. It was splashing out and falling out over this side and splashing out that side. But you're talking about that flexibility.
It's
that
a prime example.
And the trees, as you can see, are still standing, but they had that flexibility. Yeah. They had that bend and that flow.
That built-in nature, natural flexibility.
Yeah, it was. And that was living evidence and a living example through nature of how to be, how
flexible.
To live. And to,
flexible. So, perfect example.
We were a witness of that. Woohoo!
Yeah, we were sitting right out.
Oh yeah, it was a huge earthquake, one of the biggest I've felt. And you know what was interesting is at the time, you know, I'm watching the whole forest do this whole thing, and I'm like, you know, I don't know. I was like, what happens now? Do we just snap off, our little lava ledge? Do we just snap off and float out like a little island into the ocean? Or do we run for the hills? What do we do? Kumu she was focused down like you are in the va'a, in the canoe. You focus into the water where your paddle is hitting. And she just stayed in that place, and she just looked up at me. And I think my eyes were really big. What do we do now? Kumu. And she went, Mahalo nui no la ke'i. And we mahaloed.
Energy.
We mahaloed Pele for that experience, for the lessons and the blessings. And we knew things were coming, but that we were going to see. Okay. We were going to see the goddess and her aloha in its magnificence. And so we mahaloed that immediately. Yeah. And we didn't go into fear. We didn't go into, panic. No, we just
no time.
You went right into the mahalo nui. So of course I jumped right in because that's what you do. Yeah. And we just did the mahalo nui.
Which just gives you an example, of no matter what's going on in your life. My grandfather used to always say, oh, this that we live in, this world that we live in is just temporary, and in his words, not real, real, but not real. And when I was a child, I really didn't understand that, but there was something that he would always say that no worry, you'll see, as you grow. In his way, he was saying, as you expand, you'll see that life is not closed, no keep you in prison. In other words, don't get really closed in like that, so that you can be a part of that expansion. Yeah. And of course, living on an island, as we do, hot tomato, as it is.
It is. It so is.
Yeah. You really pick that up. If you don't, you can be really in pilikia. Trauma and drama all the time. And that becomes your mode of operation, to be in trauma and drama. Ooh, how miserable. No. Better to be more in the flex mode. Even especially now. Now there's so many changes, and it's not just our own personal world, but it's the whole world. It's the whole world going through these changes today with the COVID-19.
Yeah. And we really are getting the opportunity to
expand
and evolve and bend.
Spandex the aloha.
And stay bendable and in the flow of things, and not everything has to be a certain way always, that change is
inevitable,
is even more now the norm, because you never know from one minute to the next how things are going to change. And it's so unlike what we're used to, and isn't there a saying that, it's like there was a program on that showed the evolution of man. And it was the ones who were able to adapt, that it was the civilizations that were able to adapt to the changes in the environment, or certain diseases or whatever that came along. And if they were able to adapt, they were able to survive and repopulate, or sometimes they would migrate and move, but their civilization, their peoples would live on. The ones that couldn't adapt, didn't make it. Just didn't make it.
Yeah, they would have the challenge.
Yeah. And that's
really be challenged.
That's what I love about your Aumakua, the mo'o, is the, nature's living evidence of adaptability. Because the mo'o, the lizard, the dragon, the gecko, that whole Aumakua, that animal god, has been around for so long, since
I think
dinosaur time, because of its adaptability. So that's another example of that.
Key elements for changes, just like recently, well, I was telling you about this, we were talking about it, I think about a week now, the eighth dimension.
Oh yeah, man, we had really good messages that came in with that interview that we did with our friend Malie and her group on the solstice, and yeah.
The eighth dimension.
Nakupuna were playing with you, had you in their realm all night long, and then they didn't want to let you go. And so, I kind of got up knowing that the interview was going to happen. I didn't really expect to be a part of it. But, Kumu was just kind of like not here, and I knew it was like going to start in like 15 minutes, and she had to be on to their Zoom meeting to be able to,
as a guest.
Yeah. Because you were one of the, you were the one of the main guests, and you were doing the closing. And so they were all like introducing you and stuff, and you're still in bed asleep in the realms with them. And I'm like going, oh my gosh. So I got everything situated and set up, and, like a good alakai. And I got it all set for when they were going to release you. And I'm like, okay, gang, let my kumu go. This is, the earth realm. We have timelines.
Yeah, we
just every once in a while, but right now we have a very important one. There's this whole group of people waiting to hear Kumu, and you still have her knocked out, sleeping and playing in the realms.
The messages, yes.
Oh man, they had just downloaded you with a lot of really good stuff, and so I set it all up, and I had gone in her bedroom, and I saw that she was sitting up. I go, okay, you have like 5 minutes. to pull it together, and I will go, and I will kind of like introduce us and say hello, and then you just come in as soon as you can. Okay, yeah. And you were like, I'll be there. So I sat down, and it was magic, really, because I sat down, I thought, oh, okay, I'm gonna just kind of, I don't know, say something.
Do the hula?
Yeah, maybe we'll start doing hula. No, I was like, nah, I can figure out something to say hi to these folks with. So yeah, I just kind of sat down, but like I just introduced myself, and that you were coming, and that hi, and we're so glad to be here. And I turned, and you're standing right there, and you were like full regala, bloing, gorgeous as ever. And I'm like, oh, and here she is. And so then you sat down, and she was able to bring in those messages for them, for that group. And yes, it was very strong about the eighth dimension and the green light, remember?
Well, as they had
the navigator
delivered, yeah. And they were speaking about the fifth dimension. And the fifth dimension, as I know it to be, is our living standards now, to all that we pretty much know about and have discovered scientifically, as well as physically in our life form right here, in this time frame. But they were speaking about the sixth dimension, but they bypassed that. I went, okay, so now we're going into the steps. That'd be great. And I thought to myself, okay, gang, we only have 3 minutes is what I was thinking about, you know, because I knew that, you know, there was this group of people that I needed to, you know, be ready to speak with or to do a presentation of some sort. I wasn't even sure what that was going to be like. But anyway, yeah. So the sixth dimension just kind of got put on the side, and I asked. I said, well, wait a minute. They said, no, the eighth dimension. Mm-hmm. I'd never heard of the eighth dimension, ever. Mm-hmm. Fifth dimension, yes. I can slide even with the sixth dimension. The seventh will take a stretch. But the eighth, what the heck is the eighth dimension? You know. So I asked that. I said, okay, we've got 3 minutes. So as I was coming down the hall, they said, don't worry about the sixth dimension. That's already a lot has been covered there. Don't worry about that. The seventh is just pretty much the same as the sixth. The seventh still leaves doors open, meaning choices open, meaning it's understandable, meaning, you know, it's not strange, whatever. And I went, oh, okay, we're going into strange. Is that what this is? They said, no, it's not strange. It's to open the doors into this dimension so that everyone can leap forward, you know. But they can't leap forward into something if they don't have any kind of idea that there's even something to leap into. I says, okay, that would include me, gang. Yeah. So yes, so their idea, which more is going to be revealed, but their idea is about the eighth dimension. And let me see, I think I wrote a little note about that.
Yeah, you know, we were talking about lately it's all been about the navigator, you know, the navigators, and we were talking about the alignment of, you know, the Christmas star that was happening, yes. You know, that hadn't happened this way for 800 years. And so we were watching the Christmas star, you know, coming, the two planets coming together and the alignment of that, and talking about Makali'i and the seven sisters, and how the sisters, the seven wahine, the seven women, were navigators. And we were talking about, oh, mahalo. We were talking about, you know, the green as a navigator, you know, throwing the point of destination, you know, throwing your aka cord. And you called it the green light, which is so true. Is it's this unexplainable light, that point of destination, and it's on the horizon and you can't even see it. But it's right. It's a green light, and you throw your energy line. Hawaiians call it an aka cord. You throw your energy cord, you know, kind of like a fishing line, and you lock on to that point, and then you're able to navigate there to that point of destination. No matter what currents or happenings goes on in between that, you will reach that destination.
Well, that light is sometimes shown on the horizon during a sunset.
Ah, you know, the green flash.
Yeah, that green flash, yes. And if you're fortunate enough to see that green flash, yeah, that's a sign of expansion and never ending. And it's also a point that's so far reaching, you know. So it's about expanding your own light, to be able to see way beyond what you were taught even, and to just open those doors. Yeah,
yeah. As a navigator, literally out on the ocean, you watch where the sun sets on the horizon, because it sets it in different places, directionally. You'll see, you watch where the sun goes down on the horizon. And yes, at times when you're blessed and lucky enough, right time, right place, you see that green flash. As a navigator, I remember watching the sun set many times, because that, depending on the time of year, it gave me a sense of direction. Once I knew where the sun set and I knew the time of year, I could find north and south and east and west. And I remember watching the sun and being so grateful to the sun as it set into the ocean. And I kind of put my focus on that and my Aka cord on the sun. And I was in that Mahalo Nui for all, that it gives and it is. And I love the sun so much. And as it set, I could still feel that my Aka cord attached, my energy line attached to the sun. And then I went home, had dinner, went to bed. I could still feel, and I could almost, at different times, I could taste earth, because my line would stay locked on the sun, but now, in the night and through the night, it's on the other side of the earth. But I could sense the ocean for a while with the sun. I could taste it and smell it. And then as it moved around the earth, I sensed all of these different layers of earth and places, and then of course the molten core of the earth. And then of course it comes up on the other side, which is ocean again. So in the morning, I got up, strangely enough, early enough to see the sunrise. But I was up early enough to see the sunrise that morning, and I again smelled and tasted ocean as the sun rose up, because it came up over the ocean again. We're out here on the islands. And so I was like, whoa, that was really cool. to as a navigator, to feel, your energy line, your energy cord go around and follow the sun. And isn't it interesting that go ahead.
Yeah, that you're able to, well, what I find that's so interesting is that we can describe this bit of information, because as I was thinking about it, I was thinking to myself, okay, how do we translate this? It's one thing to be spiritually aligned with, say, the ancestors. And, their way of communication, I feel, is that it's through pictorial and emotions. Mea mea is not so much words. Yeah.
But the stories, the mo'olelo.
Yeah.
And the pictures and the visuals of the mo'olelo.
Comes through the light beams, comes through things of examples, and you're supposed to be able to, well, not supposed to be, but it's another way of translating, so that happens too. That's really interesting. Yeah,
that green flash. And the navigators, the Wahine, the 7 sisters of the Pleiades of Makali'i, who are the feminine navigators, and Grandpa would talk about them.
Oh yeah, they're birthing these energies. That's why if you think about it, man refers to things that are new or being birthed or something like this as a female, a weather as a female, things of this nature. Things are all referred to as female, So to translate that out to, oh, okay. So what that has always told me is that, when we need to get close to our, I guess, purpose, we have to go through the female side of things. I think, okay. So that's why in readings, even, I've noticed that whenever the Kupunas come in and they do readings, and if you remember, I used to say, oh yeah, they do it in 20 minutes or less. That's because they connect right into that birthing center. Yeah. To where the translating part of it, you pick up on it because it's not so much in words. It's more in visual and emotional that translation is there rather than in words. Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah. So that's what they do even when, that's probably why, in fact, that's it. That's why when I'm asked to speak, I just go right into that realm. Because there's no other realm to draw from but that feminine side, I guess. And, that when you're on that side of it, you're able to bring forth more of the how should I say that? More of the things that you're meant to recognize and to understand coming from that seed of translation where the birth is. Very interesting. Very interesting. You guys are hearing it now for the first time even. I haven't even.
Yeah, so much is coming in, and they've really had us in the realms, right, man, this last little while, and had us in the realms. And sometimes, I'm so blessed to have my living mentor here, because I'll get up in the mornings and they will have had me in the realms, showing me different things in my dreams. And I would call it like, really being in multi dimensions, being in the realms, or you could call it dimensions or something. But and they show us so much, and they give us these big huge chunks of information and messages. And then we of course come back here, and it's like, take it in. If we sit and we talk about it first thing in the morning, it kind of locks it in. But I noticed that it takes a few days for it to just kind of brew.
That's a good word.
Or like if we talk about Mea, which we always do, food, marinate. It just marinate for a few days with those messages, and then it's able to come forward. And then you can kind of translate it into the English language, which isn't always easy to bring spirit and the messages from there and what we're shown, and then bring them here. So even, you know, over the last few days that both of us have, you know, and they've been playing with you in the realms. I'm grateful they let you come back. They like to play with you and keep you. The ancestors, they love her.
Yeah.
Our Keiki.
Our
precious Keiki.
Yeah.
And they like her. So yeah, that more and more messages will come in too. And we can go deeper into those messages of course, you know, we're starting to do the navigator cards.
Yes.
And
sure.
the navigator with those navigational tools, but it's also these really deep messages that are coming in. And so then we can.
Well, I expect that as we move more in this direction, I expect that those who are in the canoe, who are active members, let's put it that way, who are active members, they too will be influenced by the ancestors.
Oh yeah, they have you in their clutches.
No, really.
Dun, dun, dun. No, you know, in the loving energies of the ancestors, because you know, when you're in the Va'a, you know, it's kind of like you have them, they have you in their realm.
Yeah.
In their realms, and they bring it all in, and we're all so blessed and influenced, you know, infused, let's say, infused with their wisdom and knowledge and that understanding.
Yeah. Well, these class sessions too, because they put them together. I didn't. I was just listening to their, you know, okay, you got to do this and
guidance, go online. Well, they knew things were going to change. They knew things we didn't know. We didn't know. But this was all, this was already set into place, and being, you know, all the synchronicities and alignments coming together for it. But before, not being able to travel out and doing all that stuff. So Nakapuna already knew. They just needed us to get, you know, in alignment and on board with it. Get on board with it, because the Va'a's gonna move this way now. So this is so perfect. So we'll continue forward with some of the messages that have come in about the 8th dimension. Yes. And the magic, but we'll let them go for now.
Well, one of the things that I've noticed, one of the most important things, in fact, I think, and so I'll voice that now, is that the 8th dimension is about acceptance. Apono.
Yes.
As we talked about a lot.
Yeah.
It's not about the 5th dimension was all about, oh, this and this is on the table now. And you always had the choice of whether, you know, you wanted to hear more about that or accept that, or just go skipping along, you know. But if you choose to remain in the Va'a, then it's your way of also, or you're getting in touch with your inner self, your core being. And that core being is your spirit being that's saying it's time. It's time to really get into the alignment of that. And what does that mean to you? What does that mean to you? You know, in other words, the acceptance is about, do you accept that, yes, you're human, and yes, you have this dense world that you're living in, But don't forget, it's an illusionary world.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about the illusions. So therefore, it's not real.
Mm-hmm.
The realness or the solidarity comes through on moments of acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You accept that you are spirit, first, foremost, forever and always. And then once you accept that, then you accept that you'll be able to choose and to make sense of, through acceptance, the spiritual core of who you are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were talking about that this morning.
Mhm.
So
Vivid.
Oh, so vivid. Well, this morning, the last couple of days, both Kumu and I, pretty much when I woke up, well, she wakes up, different time. You have different sleeping pattern. You know,
Mhm. We won't go there.
I
Never
have
walk.
literally had to throw myself out of bed in the mornings because I just keep, I wake up and I'm in these dreams. I'm in the realms, the magic realms, and I just want to stay there. So, I'll go back to bed. I'll go back to sleep. And I know I can hear that Kumu has gotten up and that she's in the living room, wrestling around, or in the kitchen doing stuff. And I know the day is, happening. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna go back into, and I can go back into my dreams. And I just go back in there, and then I'll wake up again, and I'll know, man, it's about 11 o'clock. But I can hear you in there doing your day and stuff, and I'm just going back into those realms, and I know that they have you in the realms in your sleep, and that
well, there isn't a difference.
Yeah, no, there isn't. And that's, when I got up this morning and they told me to, not to start to go into my list of things to do for the day, or feel like I needed to get up and rush and start doing, the human to-do list. Don't go into the humanness. Take the realms that you've been in for the last 2 nights. Take that realm into your day and remember it. And so I laid in bed, and of course I did my mahalos, and then they just kept, now remember now La'akea, don't, take this, stay, come slowly awake.
There's more to this.
Come slowly awake and take this in. And I knew I was to get up and to sit and talk with my Kumu about the dreams I had had, and to bring it in, to really kind of lock it in, because I needed to remember my dreams, but keep those realms close, bring that energy in the realm here. And so I got up and I made coffee, and I didn't want to talk about anything else.
I noticed that.
And I didn't want to get distracted by thoughts of anything else. And you were in your creativeness, your creative things that you were doing for the day already, but I couldn't go there because I'm like, okay, don't get distracted. And so I sat with you and I told you about my dreams, and they had me in these realms of the magic. And we talk about the magic, and we see magical things happening here all the time, but I really, on a deeper level, got to understand that there is no difference, what we call the realms, and here there really isn't a lot of difference. However, it's when we're here that forgetfulness easily comes. And we focus on
the curtain starts to close.
And it's almost like it's the only difference is the focus. It's like because it's like taking your focus from the spiritual realms, that magical dreamland or whatever, which is honestly, as of today, more real to me than here, because they say this is an illusion. Now I understand, because I always like, what do they mean by an illusion? I couldn't grasp that. I couldn't. I had the concept of it, but I didn't have an experiential understanding of it quite yet. And so, you know, it's just changing your focus. When your focus changes to the illusion, and then when you give more of your focus to the illusion than to what's real, to the magic realms, then the illusion
takes over.
You know, just easily takes over. And we call that humanness or something. We call that humanness. But
and it becomes real.
The trick is to be able to, you know, kind of be in the realms in an illusionary world, and yet not lose not lose your focus of the magic.
No.
And like you say, it's always there. It's always there. What did we say this morning when you said, oh, when we give the illusion more attention, we move away from the magic, but it is always there.
Right.
And you know, I know it's so simple, but it's so true. Right? It is so very true. And it really is about that acceptance, that apono.
That's how I do it.
Yeah. And you have done it
all my life.
Always from birth, from the womb.
Pretty much all my life, because of who my guides have been, my mentors have been in my life from Keiki days, from childhood.
Well, you've consciously chosen to live more in the realm.
Yes.
And yet you knew you had a purpose here. You had a kuleana, a responsibility to be here enough in the illusion
just enough
to messenger, you know, to bring in the messages from the realms.
Yes. Yes.
So that you could bridge it.
Now you got it.
To help, to be, you know, I mean, I know it, but man, I know it so much more now. I just wow. I mean, it's just like
you got it.
It really, and you know, that's why I just you know, am so grateful for you. And we spoke it this morning, how awesome it is that I have a living mentor, you know, and that we have you, because you could so easily be in the other, you know, you could they would take you so easily to the other realms, and you wouldn't have to be in this focus.
That's right.
But that this illusion is kind of like that thing that, like when you go out into like certain waters, and we used to practice paddling the canoe in the Kaiwi Channel, which is the most treacherous channel in the whole world. And it's just crazy. It's just the currents from every direction. But we would practice there, and they said, if you can paddle in these waters, you can paddle anywhere. And it's just like, you know, to watch you and your mastery of bringing in the magical realms and paddling in that in the illusion. And it's like, if you can navigate magic in this illusionary realm, if we can do that here in the illusion, we can do it anywhere.
Exactly.
I mean, that's like easy breezy. We can go to any realm, any place,
anytime.
We're like, oh yeah, oh, I can do this. This is like butter. This is like gravy. This is the cherry on top over here.
Now let me tell you why I keep that. Why I keep that treasure. Because I've learned this a long time ago. I keep myself with that treasure. I value it because I want to have it available to me to help translate it for others. Because I don't need it translated. I've already got it.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that there'll be people, and they have from time to time, that has come and asked, and the kapunas will say, yes. Yeah, tell her about it, or tell him about it, or give them a bit of it, and I go, but what if they don't understand it? Then they'll think, this was my before days.
Mm-hmm.
They'll think I'm a little crazy, and stuff like that, or they'll think I'm not quite here, and they'll go, good.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll go, what do you mean by that? And they'll go, because there'll be a time that they'll want to open that door again. And they'll remember. Okay. And besides, it's your job.
Mm-hmm.
So I go, oh, okay. So there's been times, so many times, like you and I'll sit, or I'll you'll get up in the morning and you'll come in and dee bop in and make your coffee and blah 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 blah, and then boom, you're out the door and you start your day, and I go, oops, we locked her. Okay, that's okay. There'll be another time.
Mm-hmm. It takes what it takes.
Takes what it takes. Takes what it takes.
Yeah.
Because as a mentor, I also know that you don't interfere in somebody's focus. They have to call it out. Yeah, you don't call it out. They call it out. I go, okay. Yeah, because there are times I feel it, I know it, I sense it, and I want to tell you, oh, by the way, blah, 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 blah. But the focus isn't there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No,
mm-hmm.
No need, because there will be a time, and when that time comes, then the acceptance becomes the experience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The acceptance becomes the experience.
Yeah. Like really truly accepting that we are magic, and yeah, and this morning, as we sat and I was in that readiness.
Yeah, you were.
I was in that place of acceptance, and I was like, oh my gosh, Annika. And you just looked at me and smiled, as I'm telling you this. And I'm like even just like prayers, in this magical realm, I was teaching these kids because I knew, prayer isn't like, oh, do you have enough faith in an image of something called God? Mm-hmm. No, prayer isn't, prayer is about energy and getting into, and it's almost like visually to see yourself sending this prayer to the universe. I mean, where else do you send, where else do you call out a desired experience? And it's about you, the destination, the desired experience, or the thing, the prayer, the point of destination is already there. It's you getting into alignment with it in that acceptance. In the beam.
The point of destination is always the core of who you are.
Right. And it's getting that point of origin in alignment. Exactly. With that light beam, with that, where you're sending the prayer out, and it really just, it doesn't have all of that static energy of doubt and disbelief and, oh, I'm only human and there's somebody higher than me and more magical than me. It's when you really know and accept that you are magic, there is magic, that's all there, and it's just about getting into alignment with the point of destination. Mm-hmm. And then the magic happens. Mm-hmm. But the magic is always there. It's always in place. And I was so ready to accept that. And so when I got up and I mentioned that to you, and you just look like you're smiling at me right now. You know, that, oh, grasshopper, oh, good grasshopper, yes, you got it. It was so great. And what, you know, what a gift. And if nothing else, I mean, just to be able to have that gift at this time of year,
that evolvement, yes, that experience.
And I love that we can share with, you know, people that we love and adore, and that are apparently ready to at least hear it, you know, and then we get our own experiential understanding of it. Maybe not all right now, but you know, whenever the time is right. I mean, look, here's La Kea. How many years have I been with you? 9 years, you know, and I'm still getting these amazing moments. And
and doesn't it come down to, it doesn't really matter when you get it, just as long as you get it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's not the when.
Yeah.
You know, that self-doubt, that self-judgment.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm not a smart person. I should have gotten this like how many years ago? I mean, it's not like, no, it's like, that's not important.
No, it's not.
The divine timing is, you know,
whenever it is.
When you get it.
Yeah.
It's not when you get it, it's getting it. That's the important. That's the point.
That's so true, you know. And one of the things that I find that I feel is so important about getting it is the release, you know, to be willing to release yourself. And so I wrote it down, you know, never be a prisoner of your past.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lesson of your past, not a life sentence.
It's 8-dimensional thinking.
The 8th dimension.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, it's like for me today to come to a deeper understanding of such a simple concept, and yet it's so profound and so deep and has so many levels. You know, to beat myself up or be upset that I didn't get it sooner at this level, you know, is kind of like, no, I'm not a prisoner of that. I'm not in the illusion of that. I'm in the acceptance of, wow, it is perfect timing for me. You know,
it's very perfect.
It's not a life sentence to you know, have to think I have to have things in a chronological order or in a time frame.
No.
You know, I can actually allow myself to be like the ohia trees, you know, and kind of go, oh, well, now is the time.
Okay. Well, that right there is what keeps, and this is based on my experience, that being a prisoner of the past is what keeps people from moving to their core, their mastership.
Yeah. And you know, that other thing that you have brought in so many times and do in different situations, but in this situation with the acceptance being such a profoundly fundamental, basic core of the teachings of Ho'oponopono Keala, is, you know, that again you brought in today with the acceptance, because acceptance that we are, you know, magical, we are in the magical realms, and realms are here within us and with us, and we can have them anytime we want, you know. And it's talk about you went right back to the basics of what Grandpa would share, was fish swim because fish swim. They're in acceptance of that's where they fish swim. They don't, you know, they don't question, they don't go, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't, or I'm not the best swimmer, so maybe I shouldn't swim, or, that guy, they
Or
compare
it's
themselves
Tuesday.
to,
Should I swim Tuesday?
yeah, or, Bobby swims a little bit better than me, so maybe I just should not swim, no, they accept the magic of them. Grass grows. It is, that's what it does. It's the basic fundamental acceptance of its greatness, of its magic. It just is. And that's what Grandpa was trying to say, every time.
Mhm.
He would slyly answer all the questions, that the
Yeah, why, Grandpa? Why is that? Why is that blue?
why is the sky
that-
blue? Why
Yeah.
did that do? Why did
Right.
that do that? And why is this and why is that? Fish swim because
Why?
fish swim.
Why does birds fly?
Birds fly because birds fly. Grass grows because grass
Yeah.
grows. And he was talking about the acceptance.
Yeah, exactly.
And when we are in that powerful place of accepting
Core being.
our true identity, that we are the magical realms. We know the magical realms. We know how it's energy and alignment. It's not, are you good enough? Are you
No.
smart enough? Are you godly enough? Did you go to church enough?
No.
Did you,
Yeah, none of those.
none of that. It's
figures
just,
in.
accept that you accept that you are.
Mhm, mhm.
I don't know.
Isn't that-
I'm having a big day. I'm having a big day.
What a nice Christmas present.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait to go back to sleep and play in the realms, and
What a profound Christmas present, isn't it?
It's really cool.
Well, that's the Christmas present that we give everyone
Mhm.
today.
Yeah, my Christmas present is that I get to hang out with you and share, all of these fun things with you, and that you are such a you're an awesome kumu. Awesome kumu. And that that we have all of these beautiful people in our lives also, and we have so many amazing people from all over the world. Our ohana is,
yeah,
our ohana is vast, and we're really blessed.
Well, what I love about it too is that they're hand chosen.
Oh, handpicked.
Cause we don't know them, we don't know them all from the very beginning. All we know is they're hand chosen.
No, the ancestors pick them, and boy, they got good pickers.
Yeah. So with that said, we want to wish you all a Mele Kalikimaka, a very, very Merry Christmas for this day, and that you continue to accept your mastery, accept your greatness without question. Just accept who you are, the greatest you ever. There are no duplicates, as my grandpa used to always say. No, only one.
Simple, easy breezy. You the best you ever.
You the best you ever. Okay, aloha gang. See you next year. Or, well, not yet, but almost.